Hello there. You're listening to the Sort Yourself Out podcast. This week, we're discussing how to wake up from our trance, part 2. What trance, you say? Moi? Stay tuned to find out more. I'm your host, Janine Hunt, natural health therapist for over 30 years, hypnotherapist, lifelong student, and spiritual seeker. I like to seek out the most effective practices and techniques that provide the greatest bang for my buck and the fastest route to freedom from whatever is holding us back. I can't wait to share with you these powerful techniques so that you too can sort yourself out, know deeper meaning in your life, and best of all, a sense of inner peace. So let's get started. Well, hello there, and thank you so much for joining me today. This week, we're picking up where we left off last week, discussing how to wake up from your trance. So if you didn't listen to the last episode, you might want to get that one in first before this one. So last week we covered the kinds of trances we're all engaged in. There are our work trances, our parenting trances, our relationship trances, and heaps of problem trances. One characteristic of all these trances is that they are repetitive or habitual. They're based on patterns that we have developed. Now, we learn by repetition and by creating patterns and by internalizing our learnings to an unconscious level so that we no longer need to consciously think about them. So happily, this is the way that our brains learn to automate behavior. When we do something enough times, we form neural pathways in the brain, where each neuron learns to connect and fire with the next neuron, and that is how a behavior gets set. So we are moving in and out of our trances, our automatic behaviors, all day long. We develop ways of being that become our go-to ways. But that doesn't mean they're good for us. When you consider that most of these habits and patterns are formed before we're 7 years old, yes, 7 years old, then we can allow that it's a good idea to revisit these things at an older and wiser age. Before the age of about 7, we are pretty much a blank slate. From birth till 6 or 7 years old, we are programmed with ideas about who we are, what the world is like, what we can achieve in life, and what kind of person we should be. So these ideas are brainwashed into us by parents, teachers, TV, society in general, and increasingly by shrewd marketers who want us to consume their products in order to feel good. We can take care of that ourselves. So up till the age of 7, we are basically in a hypnotic trance. We are like sponges, absorbing without question all that we experience, forming beliefs that we will then live the rest of our lives by, for good or for ill. So think about that. Beliefs that were programmed into us before age 7, that become habits that govern us for the rest of our lives. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that does not sound right. What? You mean I'm going to live my whole adult existence according to the crap that was programmed into me before I was even 7 years old and could understand or rationalize or reason? All those ticking time bombs just waiting to go off in adolescence and become the habits that we will spend much of our later years trying to free ourselves of. So the important thing here is to acknowledge the trance and to decide to wake up. Are you going to carry on living your life according to the beliefs programmed by mostly well-meaning but decidedly messed up and deeply flawed people themselves? Are you ready to get out of autopilot and accept your responsibility to wake up and choose for yourself? Well, keep listening because I'm going to talk about how you can do that. So firstly, accept that this is your choice. You are perfectly free to carry on with your early childhood programming if you like. But unless you had really enlightened parents and teachers guiding you, you may feel that you are living your life for somebody else. How many of us wake up aged 35 or 40 saying, "What the hell am I doing with my life? I never wanted to be a lawyer. It's my parents who wanted that, and I hate it. I want to be a musician." So we need to wake up and have the courage to strike out according to our own heartfelt inner desires about what we want for ourselves. We need to nourish what is satisfying and fulfilling to us and create more of that in our lives. As an adult, what mommy wants is not really our business anymore. If we're still trying to get our parents' approval or please them, then it's time to set some boundaries and do some inner work. When we wake up from the trance, we can free ourselves of all sorts of problematic patterns that cause us to suffer. Or we can remain asleep and be doomed to repeating dysfunctional behaviors. But first of all, we need to recognize that this is within our power. It is our choice. So sometimes we're aware of our dysfunctional patterns as they're glaringly obvious. Think addictions to alcohol, drugs, food. We know they're going on. But sometimes that programming we absorbed as kids is buried deep inside our subconscious minds and yet still governing the way we approach our lives, and they're motivating us in one way or another. Think beliefs about self-worth, money, what we're capable of achieving, what the world is like. So I recommend meditation to bring the subconscious programming into your conscious awareness so that you can release it. There is no better way to come to understand the contents of your mind than meditation. Trust me, sitting there watching your thoughts float by is an illuminating and often alarming experience. But there is that magic moment in meditation when you are able to calmly observe your thoughts. And you realize that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the observer. This little bit of distance and detachment from them is your point of power. As in this little space of observation, you have the option to recognize and the ability to change your habitual knee-jerk reactions you've been trotting out your whole life and that do not serve you. This is known in the Ageless Wisdom teachings as the attitude of the detached observer and is something that we are encouraged to cultivate as it has wide-ranging effects on uplifting all areas of our lives. This is why meditation is a top-down practice. It enables you to control the higher aspects and the lower fall into place in all areas. Mindfulness is another top-down practice that is also really helpful to get you off autopilot and away from those dysfunctional patterns and knee-jerk reactions that you've been living by all these years. Once again, like meditation, mindfulness enables you to observe your thoughts as they arise and not get caught up in them. And in the present moment, you face what is there in front of you, not the ghost of all your past programming that triggers dysfunctional, automatic, also known as unconscious, behavior. Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So both these practices are useful in learning what's going on betwixt your ears, consciously and subconsciously, and also in providing that little space where you can choose a new response or mode of behavior rather than operating on your past programming. These practices reveal to you your inner shit talker. Pardon my French. You know, that voice in your head that drones on incessantly telling you you're not good enough, you can't do it, blah, blah, blah. The great thing with meditation and mindfulness is that you catch the shit talker in the act of talking shit, and you call her out. You choose not to believe it. You recognize the nasty self-talk for what it is. Regardless of where it came from, it has no place in your consciousness. You are an adult now, and you get to choose what goes on in there. Now, one thing the shit talker is excellent at is berating you for past behaviors or results. And let's face it, there are few people around who don't look back on their lives and say with hindsight, yeah, maybe I could have handled that differently. But the shit talker wants to just keep beating you up about it. And this is where mindfulness is excellent, as not only does living in the present moment stop the shit talker in her tracks, but it teaches you to extend kindness and compassion to yourself and also to the people who programmed you. There is many a bitter person around, blaming their programmers, parents mostly, for their problems. And when you incorporate kindness and compassion into your life, you can appreciate that people were doing the best they could with what they had available to them at the time. If they knew better, they would have done better. A kind and compassionate attitude promotes forgiveness and understanding. And this frees you. Blame and bitterness and resentment are poison to the human spirit. And not only that, they are likely to filter down into sickness in the physical body. Okay, my final recommendation here for waking up from the trance is to choose your own brainwashing. Yay! Program your mind with what you want in there. So you can use techniques like visualization and self-hypnosis to reprogram new habits and behaviors. These techniques create new neural pathways in the brain, and as energy follows thought, they help to program the new reality you want to manifest in your life. You get what you focus on, whether you want it or not. So all of these techniques I've talked about today help you to become the master of your mind so that you can create more of what you actually want in your life, rather than what was programmed into you before you even arrived at the tender age of 7. It's the best thing you can do for your well-being. Now, I have discussed these practices in several episodes, so I'm not going to repeat them all here, how to do them. So for further information and the how-tos, check out these episodes. So episode 22 is all about meditation. And number 37, all about mindfulness and techniques to get you started with it. And number 45, how to visualize successfully. And also episode 50, think on purpose to create the life you want. And also, I talk about these kinds of things in all of my podcasts. So just pick a few and listen. And my number one recommendation to help you wake up from the trance and get going with meditation is that you download my free quick start guide to doable meditation. In it, I provide really simple, no-fuss instructions on how to meditate, and I'm talking meditation that takes as little as 5 minutes. It also includes tips to make sure you can fit it into your day and move past any resistance you might feel about starting a daily meditation practice. Because most of us feel some resistance to it. We manage it from time to time or once or twice a week, but it's when you really settle down into meditating daily that you get the benefit. And even 5 minutes will give you those benefits. So do give it a go, as meditation is a fantastic top-down technique that helps to raise your awareness as well as let you know what you need to release in order to achieve a higher order of well-being. You can get it at theinspirationcloud.com/SYO55. Those are the numbers 55. So that's theinspirationcloud.com/SYO55, and I'll put a link in the show notes. Now, if you are interested in taking your well-being to the next level and being better than happy, why don't you sign up to the waitlist for my upcoming Better Than Happy membership? I've been talking about it for ages, but I am getting there, and soon we will be launching this. So the Better Than Happy Zone is a monthly membership where I'll be teaching my most powerful top-down techniques to sort yourself out, to free yourself of your hang-ups and blockages, to take charge of your mind, and to nourish your soul. So if you've been listening to this podcast, you know that I'm all about giving you the tools that you need to transform your life. And in the Better Than Happy membership, there will be mini courses and hypnosis sessions and guided meditations and EFT tapping videos, neurolinguistic programming techniques, mindfulness training, the ageless wisdom teaching, and lots more. So that wherever you are on your path to greater well-being, you can start right there and then take the next step when you're ready. You'll have the tools, practices, and techniques you need to not just heal your life, but to make it more meaningful, fulfilling, peaceful, and beautiful. So if you're ready to transform your well-being and be better than happy and would like to be kept informed, go on over to theinspirationcloud.com/membership to get on the wait list, and I will keep you in the loop. And this is something you also want to do, because those people on my wait list are going to be offered a special early bird offer where they will be offered the membership at the lowest price it's ever going to be, and they will also get early access. So that's theinspirationcloud.com/SYO membership. Okay, my friend, that is all for today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I really do appreciate it. So take care, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. I really hope you found it helpful and full of uplifting ideas that you can put into practice in your life. And if you have, chances are your friends and family will too. So please share it with them on social media. You'll be helping them to sort themselves out, because I bet you think they need it, right? But seriously, you'll also be doing me a huge favor, and I will be eternally grateful for your generosity. It would also be lovely if you would leave me a review on iTunes, preferably a nice one, please. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast while you're there. If you have any questions or would like me to address a certain topic, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me at info@theinspirationcloud.com. Have a good one, folks. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.